Conspiracy to defraud case against former Minister David Patterson dismissed. The conspiracy to defraud case against former Minister of Public Infrastructure David Patterson and Ralston Adams, former General Manager of the Demerara Harbour Bridge Corporation, has been dismissed due to insufficient evidence presented by the prosecution. Magistrate Laron Daly upheld a no-case submission made by Patterson's attorney, Ronald Birchsmith. The dismissal highlights the lack of evidence supporting any agreement to defraud the state or demonstrating that the state had been deprived of funds. Following the court's decision, Patterson took to Facebook to express his relief after a lengthy legal battle. After exactly 4 years, numerous adjournments, some as trivial as the prosecutor forgetting the court date, go figure, 8 different prosecutors on behalf of the state. He noted that the court found no evidence of an agreement to defraud, emphasizing that the feasibility study in question was completed and delivered in full as per the contract. The charges against Patterson and Adams stemmed from an investigation conducted by the Special Organized Crime Unit in 2021. The dismissal of the case underscores the challenges faced by the prosecution in establishing a credible case against the defendants. Former teacher, Pundit Suresh Singh sworn in as Member of Parliament. Suresh Singh, the Director of Youth in the Ministry of Culture, Youth and Sport, was officially sworn in as a Member of Parliament, MP, during a session of the National Assembly on Friday. Singh is a candidate from the People's Progressive Party Civic, PPP/C, National Top-Up list, filling the seat vacated by former MP Durankumar Siraj, who was appointed as Guyana's High Commissioner to India. Background. Oath of Office. Before assuming his role, Singh took the oath of office, solemnly declaring, "I do hereby solemnly declare that I will bear true faith and allegiance to the people of Guyana." Education and career. A former student of Annandale Secondary School, Singh pursued a career in teaching, earning qualifications in mathematics and education from Cyril Potter College of Education and the University of Guyana. He later achieved a Master of Science in Education from Walden University and taught at Hope Secondary School before advancing in the Ministry of Culture, Youth and Sport. Political involvement. Singh has been a committed volunteer within the PPP, serving in the party's youth arm, the Progressive Youth Organization, PYO, where he eventually became chairman. He is also recognized as a pundit and the priest in charge at the Better Hope Mandir. Welcome remarks. During the session, Speaker of the National Assembly Manzoor Nadir expressed gratitude to Siraj for his contributions and warmly welcomed Singh to Parliament. Singh's diverse experience in education, youth development, and public service is expected to enhance the work of the National Assembly as he embarks on this new chapter in his career. One contractor in Aubrey Barker Road pole collapsed to be blacklisted, Jagdeo. Kaider News. During a press conference on Thursday, Vice President Barrett Jagdeo announced that one contractor involved in the pole collapse incident at Aubrey Barker Road will be blacklisted by the National Procurement and Tender Administration Board, NPTAB. This decision comes as part of ongoing investigations into procurement corruption related to the incident. Consequences for contractors. Jagdeo emphasized the need for accountability, stating that the collapsed poles were not installed according to specifications. He mentioned that disciplinary actions will extend to supervisory personnel as well. Joint report findings. A joint report from the Public Works and Guyana Power and Light, GPL, has been completed, recommending the blacklisting of the contractor. The investigation is still ongoing, with further disciplinary measures expected for other involved individuals. Vigilance against corruption. Jagdeo urged contractors to report any instances of bribery or unethical behavior from state engineers or procurement officers. He encouraged the public to provide information, even anonymously, regarding any corrupt practices. "We've made it clear, if any engineer, any procurement officer of the state was to solicit a bribe from you, then just let us know," Jagdeo stated. The pole collapse incident occurred in December 2024, causing widespread blackouts for approximately 2,000 residents. Jagdeo expressed his anger over the situation, stressing the importance of firing those responsible for failing to adequately oversee the project. He reiterated that the government must take decisive action against personnel neglecting their duties, emphasizing that accountability is essential for maintaining integrity in public service and procurement processes. AFC outlines its vision for Guyana at meeting with Private Sector Commission. News source Guyana. In a recent meeting with the Private Sector Commission, PSC, the Alliance for Change, AFC, presented its vision for the future of Guyana, aiming to expand its support base in anticipation of the upcoming general and regional elections. Meeting highlights. The meeting took place at the PSC office, where AFC leader Nigel Hughes outlined the party's vision for the next 10 to 15 years. Key discussion areas included national development and the necessity for an inclusive national development plan, the conduct of elections and the importance of safeguarding Guyana's sovereignty and territorial integrity, concerns about the elections. Hughes noted that the PSC expressed a keen interest in the electoral process and the ability of the Guyana Elections Commission, GECOM, to conduct free and fair elections. However, he stated, "The private sector commission expressed confidence in GECOM, and we expressed the exact opposite, a complete lack of confidence." He elaborated on various factors that have led the AFC to lose faith in GECOM and its leadership. Proposal for biometric voting. The AFC emphasized the importance of implementing biometric identification for voters at all polling places to ensure fair elections. Next steps. The AFC is expected to meet with GECOM and its chairman, Justice, Retted, Claudette Singh, to address these concerns. Following that meeting, another discussion with the PSC on electoral matters is anticipated. Attendees. The meeting included key AFC figures: Nigel Hughes, leader; David Patterson, chairman; Kemraj Ramjatan, Catherine Hughes, Jaretha Fernandez, and other party officials. The PSC delegation was led by its chairman, Komal Singh. This meeting marks a significant step for the AFC as it seeks to solidify its position and outline its electoral strategies ahead of the forthcoming elections. Residency not a requirement for voting, says Attorney General. Guyana Chronicle. Attorney General Anil Nandlal, SC, has reaffirmed that residency is not a constitutional requirement for voting in Guyana. This statement comes ahead of a hearing scheduled for March 17, 2025, by Chief Justice A.G. Roxanne George, SC, which will address an opposition challenge filed by Carol Smith-Joseph, a prominent member of the People's National Congress Reform, PNC/R. Smith-Joseph is seeking a high court order to compel the Guyana Elections Commission, GECOM, to conduct a house-to-house verification of registrants' addresses. This challenge has reignited debates surrounding the legal framework for voter registration and the residency requirements for participating in national elections. Court precedent. Nandlal cited the landmark case of Christopher Ram versus Attorney General, which he claims definitively resolved the issue of residency in the context of voting. He noted that this ruling was conclusive and had not been appealed. Constitutional provisions. The Attorney General explained that residency was a requirement under the 1966 and 1970 constitutions, but was removed in the 1980 Constitution. He emphasized that the current constitutional framework does not require residency for voter registration. Eligibility of overseas residents. Nandlal clarified that individuals living abroad, e.g., in the U.S. or U.K., can still vote in Guyanese elections as long as they meet the other qualifications outlined in the Constitution. Rhetorical questions. He questioned the rationale behind requiring individuals to live at a specific address in Guyana to vote, arguing that such a requirement contradicts constitutional principles. Nandlal remains confident that the Constitution's provisions will uphold the right to vote without residency requirements. He criticized the opposition's legal challenge, asserting that it does not introduce new arguments and that the matter had already been settled by the courts. He reiterated that any refusal of registration based on address deficiencies would violate constitutional rights. Carol Smith-Joseph's legal representation in this matter is Dexter Todd. AFC leader Nigel Hughes sends a Budget Day message. On Budget Day, remember, the cash grant is essentially like withdrawing your own money from an ATM. However, the distribution of these cash grants has been mishandled, arriving late and in insufficient amounts. President Ali and the PPP government have demonstrated an inability to manage this process smoothly and transparently. Electoral campaign stunt. The current administration has transformed what should be a redistribution of national wealth into a mere electoral gimmick. The small amounts handed out are seen as electoral bribes, aimed at securing favorable votes in the upcoming elections. No generosity. These funds are not acts of generosity from the PPP, they are returns of what rightfully belongs to the people of Guyana. President Ali and his allies deserve no credit for distributing these funds. Instead, they are the ones who have failed to ensure transparency regarding oil revenues and expenditures. Transparency issues. The government has systematically refused to disclose how oil revenues are spent, especially concerning transfers from the Natural Resource Fund, NRF, to the Consolidated Fund. It appears they have indulged in mismanagement while citizens suffer. AFC's commitment. The AFC, Alliance for Change, pledges to advocate for full transparency on oil and gas revenues, Transparency in NRF fund expenditures. Participation of all Guyanese in the country's wealth. We envision a different approach to utilizing this wealth. Instead of merely handing out cash, we believe in empowering citizens. Our fishing rod approach includes high-quality education and training opportunities, well-paid jobs for youth, accessible health care, infrastructure development, support for small and medium enterprises, a bank for women, increased pensions, reduced taxes, elimination of child food poverty, transportation for children to school. By implementing these measures, we aim to create a dignified, free, and empowered populace ready to pursue happiness and prosperity. Brutus Diversity Policy Lawsuit a PR Stunt, Jagdeo says. Guyana Chronicle, Barrett Jagdeo, General Secretary of the People's Progressive Party, PPP, has dismissed claims made by Assistant Commissioner of Police Calvin Brutus, who is currently facing over 200 charges related to alleged financial crimes. During a press conference at Freedom House, Jagdeo addressed Brutus's lawsuit claiming racial discrimination under the diversity policy of the Guyana Police Force, GPF. Lawsuit status. Jagdeo stated that as of Thursday, the Attorney General and Minister of Legal Affairs, Anil Nandlal, had not received any court documents related to Brutus's alleged $1.6 billion Guyanese lawsuit, leading Jagdeo to conclude that the lawsuit is likely a public relations maneuver. Claims of discrimination. Brutus claimed he was removed from his acting position as Deputy Police Commissioner for Administration and reassigned to head the special branch due to directives from Jagdeo. Jagdeo vehemently denied these claims, stating, "There have been no such directives. I never met with the Commissioner of Police." Allegations of inefficiency. Jagdeo revealed that numerous complaints about inefficiency in Brutus's department had been reported to him, stating, "Large numbers of people kept coming to me and saying we can't get paid." Response to removal. Jagdeo expressed no remorse for Brutus's removal, asserting that it was not based on racial discrimination. He emphasized that actions would be taken against anyone, regardless of background, who fails to perform their duties. Brutus faces serious allegations, including money laundering and diverting public funds into questionable projects for personal gain. His co-accused include his wife, Adonica Alder. If convicted, they could face lengthy prison sentences and significant fines. Jagdeo pointed out the opposition's changing stance on the investigation into Brutus, labeling it shameful. He remarked on the previous administration's governance period, 2015 to 2020, highlighting issues of accountability and corruption within the GPF, and reassured that such issues would not occur under the current PPP/C administration. Jagdeo concluded with a firm commitment to managing the country responsibly, stating that anyone who neglects their duties will be held accountable, regardless of their affiliation with the PPP. GECOM chair rules against introduction of biometrics for elections 2025. News source Guyana. Justice Claudette Singh, the chairman of the Guyana Elections Commission, GECOM, has officially ruled against the introduction of biometric identification for the upcoming 2025 general and regional elections. Feasibility concerns. In her ruling made on Thursday, Justice Singh emphasized that with less than a year until the elections, the implementation of a biometric system is not feasible. She noted the extensive tasks required to prepare for the elections, which would not allow adequate time for the introduction of such a system. Current registration process. While the current process involves manually taking fingerprints, Singh stated that the National Registration Act allows GECOM to determine procedures for acquiring and processing data electronically. However, introducing a digital fingerprint system would require significant preparation, including equipment procurement, staff training, and public education. Legal framework. Singh pointed out that while there are provisions for comparing fingerprints with identity papers, making biometric identification the sole method for voter identification would impose unconstitutional requirements on voters. Possible additional tool. She noted that biometrics could be used as an additional tool for voter identification, allowing other identification methods if a voter cannot be verified through digital means. However, this would require new legislation. Next steps for GECOM. Justice Singh outlined that GECOM would need to host stakeholder consultations to assess the feasibility of introducing biometrics, consult with stakeholders, including the government and parliament, to evaluate costs and necessary legislative amendments, examine equipment procurement and staff training requirements, conduct public education campaigns on the new systems, opposition and government perspectives. The ruling comes amidst ongoing debates within GECOM, where opposition members have been advocating for the introduction of biometrics for over 3 years, arguing it would enhance election integrity. Conversely, government-nominated members have opposed this initiative. The decision has significant implications for the electoral process, as the introduction of biometric identification remains a contentious topic in Guyana's political landscape.